So my goal for Lifetime is to win it. Joking. No, I obviously, it's like the competitive side of me. Like whoever says they're just going to take part, like you're not. You're not. Everyone's there to be competitive. Obviously, I've not really raced with these girls that I've raced with before, and some of them did Lifetime last year, so they know what to expect, whereas I'm kind of going into this blank canvas, have no idea. So I'm just going to play each race as it comes. Like, I know that I've got the engine, I know what I need to do, but on the day, so many things can happen. You can have punches, there can be crashes that you can't help. Like, so it's just, obviously I'm going there to get a result, whether that's get a podium in one of the races or even top 10, I don't know. I'm just going to see each race as it comes and just ride as hard as I can. I started cycling probably when I was younger. My family are mad for sport. My dad was a professional athlete. So when I was younger, I started swimming, got really competitive with my brother, and he was doing swimming. And then being the younger sibling, I kind of followed him. So he then started running, so then I followed him to the running. We're both swimming and running. Then naturally, when you're younger, everyone's like, give triathlon a go. So I started triathlon. Hated bike riding. Literally, that was my worst discipline. But I was just not very, I don't know, smart with the riding. I was always first out the water, caught up on the bike, then be chasing back on the running. But kept doing that. And then when I got to about university age, I was like, I'm going to try something else, kind of put triathlon aside. Still did like running and swimming to keep fit, but actually walking around the Freshers' Fair at uni, I fell into the rowing stand. And then kind of got hooked on that and got taken in. I started just doing it just for a bit of fun, and then the competitive side took over me, and I started rowing to quite a high level at university. So we did like a women's Henley Royal Regatta, quite iconic races in the UK. Did like GB trialling system, and then after university, again I was like, I think I'm just going to enjoy sport. Got back out on the bike just for fitness and everything. So bikes always featured, like with rowing, it was like our cross training. But yeah, I went to London, and in London there's like a mad cycling community. And Regent's Park, one of the iconic parks, at like 5 a.m. there's like chain gangs constantly. So I thought I'd go along to one of them. Got competitive, started like chasing down all the guys on the park and stuff, and then one day a guy was like, oh, you should try racing. I was like, I don't want to do competitive sport, like I'm fine. Then was like, okay, I'll give it a go. Naturally got hooked on that again, and 4 years later I'm still riding my bike, just climbing the ladder. Last year I was national gravel champion, which is pretty cool. I got the opportunity to race the Women's Tour of Britain, which is an incredible event. I got, on the first day, I did a 50k solo breakaway, so I got some cool telly time. I got 8th at the National Road Championships. It was quite good. It was when I was on one of the local teams, Team London, so before my UCI team now. So I got in a breakaway with a load of World Tour riders, so they were like listing it out, like Jumbo-Visma, Canyon SRAM, and then they were like, hang on a minute, we've got a Team London girl. It was quite funny. Stuck out like a sore thumb, but it was quite cool to be in that little group. And now like I race with those girls a lot more. So, but they were, yeah, the results that like stuck with me, I suppose. So I've known Andy since I was, I don't even know, like so small, like I can't even remember, I was so young. But yeah, I think my dad and Andy worked together in Formula One. I think it was Renault their first time. Was that wrong? I don't know. It was Renault. Yeah, and I remember Andy used to come around. He was only a young lad himself, and him and Dad used to do a lot of training together, working together. And then yeah, it's just been close family friends over the years. And then obviously Andy worked in events. And I remember me and my brother used to go and help work on some of the events, and we'd get pocket money from Andy and Ben for like working on the events. And then we just stayed in contact ever since. And I work at Vivo Barefoot, who Precision also sponsor an event called Attillo. and I did one of those Attila events, and I was going to do it with Johnny, who works at PH as well. So we just like kind of got back in contact, was talking more about precision and the fueling, and I've always used precision hydration. Like Andy and the guys are wicked here. But yeah, and then I reached out to Andy about doing Life Time, and yeah, just saw another opportunity for us to work together. But yeah, he's a wicked guy, and it's just weird seeing how my dad, like, obviously worked with him, well, got him almost his first proper job, I suppose, in Formula One, and now the roles are reversing, and now he's helping me to try and chase my dream. So it's pretty cool. What does my dad say about Andy? I don't know, my dad's he loves a bit of banter, so he'd probably say, I don't know, Andy was a at something. The National Gravel Champs is quite new, especially the UK. The gravel scene's like growing year on year. And the first time I did it was 2 years ago. And it was quite weird. The women were merged in with the men's racing, so you did know where you were, but it was quite easy for girls to like jump on guys' wheels and things like that. I think I got third the first year I did it. But then I came back last year and it was completely new structured. They did it a lot more official, and the field literally trebled in size. It was mad, and it was all the girls that I raced with on the road were now coming along and doing it. But yeah, I'd done a few races leading up to that race in Spain that were like 100 miles long. So I had some good prep in my legs, and I was quite hungry for it. So I just went out there. I knew the course from the year before. It hadn't really changed much. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. Sadly, the road racing scene in the US has died massively. So all athletes there are turning to gravel. And obviously there's more and more opportunity out there for gravel events. So they said to me you should just apply for the Life Time. And to be honest, I put the application in, and then because all the athletes are mainly US based, I was like, I don't know if I'll actually get anything. And then I remember actually I was at a Christmas party and I got the email pop up like, you've been selected for Life Time. And I was just like, what? And I literally told my colleague and they had no idea what I was talking about. And I was so excited for it. But yeah, then it suddenly hit home that I was going to the US to do a lot more gravel racing. So I think, to be honest, Sea Otter's probably going to be my most challenging one, because obviously it's on a mountain bike and I haven't done mountain biking since I was a young kid. Like, gravel has like a crossover where some races you definitely think, God, I could have done with a mountain bike in that section. So like, it's not that it's going to be like massively different, but I think Unbound will probably be one of my strongest ones because it is 200 miles, it's relentless, it'll be hardcore, and I've got a bit of an engine, so I like the long ones that just test you, and mindset's a massive thing, and I think with Unbound, that's what's going to be the biggest one, of like who's mentally the toughest as well as physically. Coming from a rowing background as well, you build up such an engine from that, because it is relentless, the training. Like, coming over to cycling, they're very similar sports, rowing and cycling, but the training of the rowing back when we were at uni was relentless, but I think it's built me a foundation where I am able to do these endurance races, which is why I love stage racing on the road. That's probably like an area that I love the most, because like, as each stage goes on, I tend to get a bit stronger. So yeah, that's why I think these Life Time events will suit me.